Here's a news update from the Sustainability Channel. I'm Thomas Stanley and I'm your host. So let's start by having a look at an article from Reuters, and it's about Brazil, who partners with largest climate finance alliance to boost green growth. So let's have a look here. Brazil last Monday announced it would partner with the world's biggest financial climate coalition to turbocharge funding for clean energy and efforts to restore nature, such as reforesting the Amazon rainforest. Brazil Development Bank (BNDES) will partner with the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero (GFANZ), a global coalition of asset managers, banks, and insurance firms to mobilize public and private financing. BNDES President Aloysio Mercadante declined to give a value of the expected investment or a timeline for its launch, but told reporters that the government would act with urgency. The announcement comes amid President Lula da Silva's bid over the next 2 years to take a central role in leading global climate efforts by hosting the group of 20 largest economic powers this year and the United Nations COP30 climate summit in 2025. GFANZ co-chair Mark Carney, a former Bank of England governor, likened the program to a more comprehensive version of the Just Energy Transition Partnership, JETP, financing efforts to phase out coal in Vietnam, Indonesia, and South Africa. JETP is backed by the United States and other wealthy nations with public and private financing, including multilateral development banks. Carney and Mercadante said the investment platform would be used to expand Brazil's already vast renewable energy sector and projects like the Arc of Reforestation that aims to restore 60,000 square kilometers of degraded and destroyed Amazon rainforest. So really interesting, and we'll keep having a look at this project further on. Next article is from CNBC. Bank CEO shrugs off US war on woke capital, says ESG investing is good for business. Interesting. So this is about Standard Chartered and the chief executive, Bill Winters, who says environmentally conscious investing can be good for business, dismissing the impact of a US crusade against mission-driven investments. His comments come at a time when investments based on environmental, social, and governance (ESG) factors have become a politically polarized issue. And this is something we'll be reporting on from this channel, so please have a look at earlier episodes. In the United States, for example, Republican lawmakers have decried ESG as a form of woke capitalism that seeks to prioritize liberal goals over investment returns. Democratic lawmakers have sought to push back, however, describing attacks on a range of ethically responsible business practices as an attempt to manufacture a culture war and protect corporate special interests. A pushback against climate policies is not just a US issue. In Europe, indications of a green backlash or a greenlash have started surfacing as businesses and citizens feel the costs of the energy transition. When asked whether he was concerned about companies scaling back their sustainability commitments, Winters replied, "I don't think there has been a big backing away." The CEO said his company had been constantly refining its net zero methodology since setting a dual track of objectives in recent years. The emerging markets-focused bank is aiming to reach net zero carbon emissions within its own firm by 2025 and net zero in its financed emissions by 2050. We said, 1. We're going to be thought leaders and action leaders in terms of policies around net zero, and our clients have completely engaged with us. We've seen no backing away from that at all, Winter said. And second, we said we're going to build a business to support our clients, and that business made $720 million last year. And we said it's going to make $1 billion next year. That's not nothing. It's a good business for us, he said. And this quote is really good also. If you don't make a decent return on this business, you can't keep on throwing resources at it up to a point. This is not philanthropy. This is not political wokeness. This is to do the right thing for the planet. Do the right thing for your business. That's what we're doing, and I don't see other people backing away from that. Really interesting. And we are continuing with news from the banking sector. And now it's the Deutsche Bank who releases new framework to classify sustainable finance and investment. Deutsche Bank announced the release of a new sustainable finance framework outlining the methodologies and procedures, including the environmental and social criteria and categories used by the bank to classify transactions and financial products as sustainable. The new framework is the second to be released by Deutsche Bank, following the initial sustainable finance framework launched by the bank in July 2020. After the bank had committed earlier that year to a target to grow its sustainable financing and portfolio of ESG investments under management to over 200 billion euros by the end of 2025. The bank has since raised that goal several times and is now targeting 500 billion euros of sustainable financing and investment volumes between 2020 and 2025. Earlier this month, Deutsche Bank revealed that it has reached 297 billion euros towards its sustainable finance and investment goal as of the end of 2023. According to Jörg Eigendorf, Chief Sustainability Officer at Deutsche Bank, key updates in the new framework include enhanced eligibility criteria, the incorporation of evolving market practice with guidance from market associations such as ICMA, LMA, ISDA, and heightened transparency, with the framework including a commitment to publish progress on sustainable financing and investment volume with its quarterly and annual financial results, and as part of its annual non-financial report. Eligibility criteria for sustainable finance and investments under the framework for activities classified as environmentally sustainable are based on the 6 guiding objectives of the EU taxonomy, which include climate change mitigation, climate change adaptation, sustainable use and protection of water and marine resources, transition to a circular economy, pollution prevention and control, and protection and restoration of biodiversity and ecosystems. For socially sustainable activities, the framework outlines its classification along objectives including access to basic infrastructure, access to essential services, affordable housing, SME financing and microfinancing, employment generation, food sustainability and sustainable food systems, and socioeconomic advancement and empowerment. So that's all for today. Really interesting to see the big banks are continuing their efforts on working with sustainability. Over and out, and live a sustainable life.